I think now is a good time to move into the social suite, the meat of the book, and perhaps some more controversial material. And so one thing, I mean, maybe what we
I'm
should...
relieved to hear that nothing I've said so far is controversial. That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
go
it's
on.
not controversial for me. It all makes sense and resonates. But what I had in mind now, I'm taking it on your word that this is controversial, which is cultural universals, because you
Yes.
mentioned in your book that they've been a topic of very hot debate in the
Yes.
anthropological literature.
Yes. This is also an old and interesting topic, which is, are there qualities of human social life that are invariant? For example, the gender division of labor is found in basically every society. Now, what men do and what women do will vary from place to place, but the fact that there are so-called male jobs and so-called female jobs, I think, is found in every society. So there's a big debate about this, about whether there are cultural universals, what those cultural universals are, and if we were to find them, what would it mean? Would it mean, for example, that those have arisen because of some kind of, let's say, evolutionarily shaped process? Are they like genetic, quote unquote? Or perhaps they simply relate to fundamental physiologic needs. For example, every society is concerned with the acquisition of food. Well, the necessity of eating is a biological, function of human beings, and we evolved to like salty and sweet and fatty things. And so societies around the world will concern themselves with the acquisition of food and privilege salty and sweet and fatty things. So we shouldn't be surprised if we find that sweet things are universally liked. That relates to our physiology. It would be, let's say, universal. But there's a contention as to how, as I said, which things are universal, how many things are universal, and what explains their universality. And the claim that I'm trying to advance is that certain specific things, for example, love is a universal, and I'm trying to advance the argument that love has been shaped by our biology, by our evolutionary past. Like other animals, we reproduce sexually, we mate with each other. Of course, there are some creatures that reproduce asexually, but most creatures, depends on how you count species, but a vast number of species reproduce sexually. We do too, but we don't just mate with each other. We love each other. We form a sentimental attachment with the individuals with whom we are having sex. You don't need love to have sex, to be clear. You don't need sex to have love, but generally speaking, we have a sentimental attachment to our conspecifics that we are having sex with. And this capacity is an evolved capacity. It has I think, a very interesting, likely evolutionary origin and function. And one of its functions is to enhance the survival of our offspring. But I think it's kind of magnificent to think about that this extraordinary human ability for love, which is seen in homosexual couples, it's seen in straight couples, it's seen in polygynous societies, it's seen in polyandrous societies, it's seen in societies with arranged marriage. It's seen everywhere. Love is seen. Is a pretty remarkable, to me at least, quality that we have, and it's one of the things that I put in the social suite. To be clear, what I argue about the social suite is that it's a set of properties that are biologically encoded, shaped by natural selection, required for social living, and expressed interindividually. In other words, we don't care whether you love yourself or are kind to yourself or are just to yourself. We care whether you love others or are kind to others or are just to others. So these are qualities you see that require someone else to express. You can't befriend yourself. You befriend someone else. So all of these elements of the social suite have to do with the interaction with others who must necessarily be present for these qualities to be manifested. And that makes it different, for example, than other kinds of behaviors like bravery. You can be brave against another person who's threatening you, or with another person when you go to, let's say, I'm going to work with you to go, kill a lion or something. But you can also be brave on your own, right? Try to kill the lion on your own, or try to leap across a cliff on your own, right? That calls for bravery that you can manifest by yourself. But love is different, or friendship is different, or cooperation. You can't cooperate with yourself. You have to cooperate with someone else. The presence of an alter to your ego is required for the manifestation of these qualities. And those are for example, another one I have is mild hierarchy. You can't have inequality in yourself. To have inequality, there must be someone else. There has to be a group for there to be inequality and mild hierarchy. So all of these features in the social suite have these properties that I alluded to.